Hello, Dr. Paul in Los Angeles. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com. And tonight I'm going to show you how I cut your prescription Crizal Prevencia lenses into your Ultem 200 with, let me take it out, with the little protective sleeve. And of course, it comes with another protective sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together during shipping. And of course, I'm going to include that when I ship to you. So let me take this out. This is the Ultem 200, which is the classic new Wayfarer shape. I wish I was wearing mine tonight, but I left it in my wife's car, which I will explain later. But this is the really lightweight, flexible plastic material, really great. You can adjust, tighten, or loosen these yourself just by bending down on the temple tip right there. These are plastic, but it has a metal core right here, making it easy for any novice to adjust. But I'm going to go ahead and take out the original demo lenses. Let me do that for you now. Put the frame into the tracing element of my blocker, and let me program this to trace. Got to hit a couple buttons tonight. So everyone wants to know, how does the machine know what shape lens to cut? This is why. The stylus is going around and tracing the inside shape, the inside bevel of the right lens, before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Ultem frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision lenses, prescription or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will reimburse for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. Now these are the shape of the lens we'll be cutting, only magnifying. That green outline is the shape I will cut. I'm going to magnify it while I work on it. Your pupillary distance for your right eye is 31. My computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap the minus button till it's programmed at 31. I want to raise the optical center height up to 23, and that is good. So let's go ahead and take your lenses down to my lensometer. This is how I'll program the shape in there, or the direction, the orientation of the lens. Your right eye reads -1, -1.25 at 85, wait, let's try this again, -1, -1.25 at 85. I'm going to take look at that, he made it into the video just in Alabama. I've got to make his 15th and 16th pair of glasses, so he's checking on that now to see when I'm going to ship. Probably never, but don't tell him I said that, okay? All right, so -1, -1.25 at 85, -1, -1.25 at 85. I'm going to turn the axis wheel, the axis number, to 85. I'm going to put the power drum on -1. That is done. Take the sleeve out of the protective wrapper. It comes with a little laminate on the front of the lens, so nothing rubs against the lens while it's being shipped, but it is no longer needed. I will take that off. Put the lens into my thing, find the spherical component of the lens, check your astigmatism correction, that looks good, and double check everything again. Now I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. If we're lucky, you will see those 3 dots. Close. Let me grab my pen. Uno, dos, 125. Of course, I didn't know there was so much math involved. This is the right lens. Let's put an R on there for that. Let's mark this. That is your right lens. And these are the Crizal Prevencia lenses. And let's mark this one right. Let's do the same thing now for the left lens, which reads -1, -1 at 75, -1, -1 at 75. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Take the laminate off the front of the lens. Power drum stays on -1. We're going to rotate the lens till the spherical power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. Put 3 dots on the lenses. Hey, it's showing up a little better this time. Uno. And this is the unright lens, so we'll call that one L, which is Latin for not right. So if you missed any of that, let me recap. I love that joke. I don't care if anyone out there doesn't think that's funny. That is hysterical. I'm telling you, that's funny right there. I don't care what y'all say. All right, so -1 and Crizal Prevencia. And just for the heck of it, let's put a red L on this one. That'll confuse him when he gets this. Why is one black and one red? Actually, he won't be confused. He's watching this video along with his new fiance, the love of his life, the best friend. Paul, I thought I was your best friend. Okay, no, Laura Jean, his love of his life, his new best friend, or of course it could be his old best friend, but new fiance, hopefully watching this together. Going to be admiring him in his new glasses. He's going to look very smart. He's going to fool people wearing these things. In fact, get 2 pair, Paul. You'll be twice as smart. Okay, so enough of that. Take this lens, put it onto the platform. This is a block. This is what it's going to look like when I'm done, when I'm not knocking his glasses over. So let's go ahead and make it look like that. I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I've got my last 2. I almost ran out. I'm going to use my last 2. Ignore all those. These are my last 2. So I'm going to put the black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick that onto one block, throw that up there, do the same thing for the second block. Now on the back is a silver button. That's going to do its job twice tonight. That is a magnet. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. I'm going to line up this magnet with something magnetical, which I don't know what that material is, but with all the chemistry that Paul has studied, he could probably tell me. Something with some iron, some ferrum, some Fe in there. So the reason why I put those dots on there is it tells me that it's oriented and they're just right. So the blue cross is the geometric center of the frame, and this orange cross, can you see the orange cross? That is where his lenses will grow. That dot in the center, hence the term optical center. Everything is lined up. I want to check something. Yeah, this lens is large enough. I'm going to hit this button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the unright lens, which will be called left for tonight's purposes. The computer mirrors the right side. It copies the left copies the right, which is 31, which when it's not covered up is 31. We're going to use the same optical center height of 23. Get those dots lined up in there perfectly. Dot, dot, dot. And let me check one thing here. Yeah, that lens is large enough. Okay, so we hit that button. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Forgot to put the block on there. All this yapping. So let's go back. Let's pull the shape back up. Pull it back up. Back to the right lens. I could skip it, but I like uniformity. Hit that button. It's going to pretend that it's blocking the right lens. Now we pull the paper away. Put that into the magnetical arm there. That flips over to the left. Get everything lined up again. All right, left lens, take 2. Matthew, look professional. Okay. Do I look professional? Wait, I can do the eyebrow thing. I concur. Okay, all right. So let's get everything lined up here. Take 2. The professional optician, take 2. All right, so everything is lined up. Double check. That's large enough. Yes, that is. All right, hit the button now. The block comes down and places the block onto the left lens. Place that stylus there. Now this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. This is going to do all the work tonight while I run my mouth. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own. Then you can cut your own lenses at home and you won't need this guy anymore to do it for you. So we're going to take the right lens and press that sticker down good. Now let's pull the shape up onto the computer. That is the shape we will be cutting. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high-index plastic, or Trivex, I would select that. Or TBD, to be determined later. Oh, that was bright. I'm blinded. I'm blinded. But we're going to stick with polycarb. I'm not going to polish the edge of your lens. I'm not going to put a bevel on the front surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. I'm going to place the block into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. But the actual cutting wheel, I need that stylus again, is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away the lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center is going to put the V-shaped bevel, or the B-shaped, the V-shaped bevel, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. So if I pronounce my B's so they sound like V's, if it makes me sound Russian, then so be it. Okay. Free bad puns with every pair of glasses sold. So someone came up to me and said, what rhymes with orange? And I said, no, it doesn't. Not even close. Okay. How does what rhyme with orange? What rhymes with... I can't think of anything at the moment. Okay, let's hit this green start button. The door closes, the clamp shuts. Dr. Paul, I hope you can joke with your patients the way I can. So the lens is going to be traced, making sure it's large enough to fit into the frame. And then it's going to go around and measure the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing you, giving you the best cosmetic look possible. Now in just a moment, the lens will drop down onto the cutting wheel, which is moved to the center of the machine. If you see light flickering in the background, that is water to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off of the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Cutting wet means that water sprays onto the lens. Now, having said that, water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away the optical debris that you see beginning to form. And that optical debris is called swarf. So it will wash away the swarf. Now, as I mentioned, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. These are the Essilor brand of lenses. Essilor calls polycarbonate airwear because they feel it's light as air. Polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. They are bulletproof. I don't know why I bang it on the counter to demonstrate that, but these are bulletproof, pow pow, up to .22 caliber. It has both UVA and UVB protection. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin. Your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that have to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. But I don't think it gets too sunny in Los Angeles, so you don't have to worry about that. So if you notice your lens is completely flat around the edges, it is now going to get the V-shaped bevel applied to the edge of the lens. It is like a nickel now. If I were to take it out, it could stand up on the counter on its own, but now it's getting the knife-like edge. Very dull knife like me, but knife-like edge nonetheless. In fact, your lens will be so sharp that it might be able to cut through a piece of wet tissue, providing that 1, you place the tissue in a bucket of water overnight, and 2, you press down with all your strength. It may be able to cut through that. Hey, look, it's water. So, it's probably El Nino off the coast of California coming in, messing everything up. So water is spraying, telling me it's on the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. In just a moment, a lever will come into view. At the end of that lever on the right is a spinning wheel, something you would find on the edge of a Dremel tool. That's what's going to apply the safety bevel onto the rear concave surface of the lens, so that if any portion of this lens protrudes from the back surface of the frame and comes into contact with the cheek, it will be nice and smooth. So, in just a moment, I will open this door with my mind. No, concentrate, come on, mind. There we go. Let me grab a paper towel so I can dry this off and it's not slippery. So I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours, but I can do it. So I just want to make sure all the optical sawdust, the swarf, has been removed from the lens. Let me grab your frame, tuck it in at the outside corner, push down at the nose. It does not want to go yet, so I'm going to take another 1/10 of a millimeter off of the edge, the circumference of your lens, until it snaps in easily. Hit the retouch button, the door comes down, the clamp shuts, and the lens is going to drop down onto the cutting wheel, which gives me time to demonstrate what comes with all Ultem magnetic frames. You get 4 magnetic clips. You get a yellow lens for rain, snow, which you do get a lot of snow and a lot of rain in Los Angeles, so this will come in handy. Although a lot of shooters like that, or on the snow, which again, you get a lot of snow in Los Angeles, so you got that going for you. You get, let's start with the basic gray polarized lens. That magnetically just attaches to the lens using rare earth magnets. Very lightweight clip. A lot of the early magnetic clips were very heavy because of the magnet in the clip and in the actual frame itself. But you have a very rare earth magnet, so it can be very small, that little round piece there, which is what keeps the magnet. You can see that little round magnet there, where it clips it on. And then on really bright days, but I don't know how many bright sunny days you get in Los Angeles, you get the Revo green mirror polarized that you can put over the top of the second one. Of course, you can wear it independently, or if for fun you want to, you can put all 4 clips on at once. And this last clip comes with an anti-glare lens, but Paul upgraded to the Crizal Prevencia, which is currently the only blue blocking lens out there, which blocks the harmful blue light emitted from today's electronic devices such as computers, cell phones, tablets, anything else electronic. Did I say computers? Did I say tablets? Did I say cell phones? I'm going to say it again. And me, I'm pretty sure I'm emitting some harmful blue light myself just standing here. My wife says I emit harmful stuff, but I think that's a gas. That's right, I'm talking about you, honey. All right, so, although, speaking of which, all right, this is TMI. I'm going to regret saying this. Engraved onto the inside of my wedding band is my wife's pet name for me, which is Stink Bug, because I do a really good impersonation of a stink bug. You want to see? So let's see if this fits in here. I'm going to tuck this in at the outside corner. Push down. Now it snaps in there. I didn't want to force it before. If the lens were too large, it would force the frame to stretch or to roll, where if you can imagine your frame being like a gutter, if the lens were too large, the bottom of the frame would roll outwards, giving you an ugly cosmetic look and shortening the life of your frame. So let's go ahead and pop that off. We can go ahead and start cutting the left lens. Let's flip that over to L, press down on that, tuck that in, hit start. The door closes, the clamp shuts. The lens is now going to be traced to see if it's large enough to fit into the left side of the frame. And you can see as it's going around tracing the shape. And just like before, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel. So you have the least edge thickness showing. Look at that. You have none with your prescription and with this frame. Because I use the thinner, lighter weight lenses, that's what you're going to get from me every time. So let's come down here and test the lens. I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 85. Put the lens in. Oh, the center dot has worn away, but I can put another one back in there. Read the power, and we're at, where's my flashlight? Hector. I had a smaller flashlight, but I lost it. So Hector sent me this blue one because he knows I love blue. So we're going to check the power. We're at -1. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, starting at 0 and going up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1. So you are nearsighted. You need 4 steps of minification to be able to see far away. Without your glasses on, everything is much too large. That's why your lens is minified down to the correct size. Now once it's the correct size, you need an additional 5 steps of astigmatism correction. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. Think of it as the fine-tune knob. Astigmatism is what makes the letters E and F look alike, or P and F, or even the numbers 6 and 8. So it is the fine-tune knob. This gets it to the correct size. This takes away the fuzzy edges. So as the fine-tune knob, we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 85. That's where we're at 85. So a straight line is anywhere from 0 at the point to 90 in the center, with 180 being here. We're going to turn that knob just before the 90th meridian, stopping about 85. Now your left eye, let's check your astigmatism correction. Hang on, before we get to the left eye. And we're at 2 1/4. 1 tick mark past 2, right before 2 1/2. And the reason that works is, remember high school algebra, we add 2 like signs together? Yeah, don't worry, I've forgotten that too. Let's use today's terms. If someone borrowed $1 from you, and then they borrowed another $1.25, they would owe you $2.25. That's where we're at 2.25 in the red. So now your left eye, again, same amount of far-sighted correction needed to correct for your nearsightedness. You have myopia. And so same 4 steps there, 1 less step of astigmatism correction than your right eye. We're going to end up at -2, and we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 75. Now the frame currently sells for $180 until my lovely wife, who updates everything on my website. I have absorbed a price increase from Ultem, but I am currently selling them at $180. No charge for your single vision lenses. You paid the $119.99 upgrade to Crizal Prevencia. Everyone out there, price shop. Prevencia is currently, as I mentioned, the only lens coating that blocks today's harmful blue light. There is a yellowish lens. They're supposed to say it's champagne color, but there's something else that's emitted from your body that's kind of yellow, and that's what it looks like. So Crizal lenses are clear. They have a purplish hue to them. All other Crizal lenses have a greenish purple hue. This is purple. P for Prevencia. P for purple. That's how you can remember that. It is the only lens out there that's like that. Mine, the classic Crizal lens, has a greenish purple hue to them. Greenish purple, purple. So that's how you can tell it's Prevencia, apart from me sending you the lens packet that says Crizal Prevencia, but you can tell by the color. Most places are not going to give out those packets. So let's go ahead and check the left lens. So currently, because Crizal Prevencia is the only lens coating, the only anti-glare coating by Crizal or anyone else that blocks the harmful blue light, it is still rather expensive because not a lot of companies produce it. In fact, only Essilor does. So because it's so new, I'm selling it for $119.99. The industry market on the East Coast, the average price for Crizal Prevencia is between $160 and $190. So I offer it for $120, or a penny less. But who's counting? I am, because I only charge $119.99. So let's go ahead and tuck the left lens in, make sure that it fits. And it does. Let's go ahead and take this block off. We can check for your astigmatism. Well, let's first check for power. We have to turn the fine-tune knob to 75. Check the power drum. We're getting -1. Let's check your astigmatism correction. We're getting -2. Again, remember, if someone had borrowed $1, then they borrowed another $1. But who am I kidding? Paul, you're so cheap because you're saving up for that wonderful engagement ring for your best friend and the love of your life, Laura Jean. So that's why you're not loaning out any more money. You're saving it for more important things. But that's where we would have two in the red. So I forgot to put a dot on your right lens. Let's pull that up behind the optical center. Put a dot on there again. Is the ink showing? Is the ink showing? Barely, barely. Where's my pen? Come here, pen. Put a dot right there. Again, if you missed any of that, let me recap. I love that joke. I'll make sure everyone gets it in every single video. So I just moved the camera. Hopefully you didn't miss any of that, but you do get to hear all of my wonderful jokes. I'm sorry if you wanted to miss those. So let's see, your pupillary distance, 31 in your right eye, 31 in your left, for a total of 62. I'm going to turn the card around, place the PD stick against my thumb on your right lens. When we hold it up on the left lens, we're getting 62 millimeters. So that is made perfectly. I couldn't have done that any better if I had done it myself. Now this is the point in every video that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, there is a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there is an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. Or is it they have one ear that's lower than the other? I can never remember. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I'm going to set it on the counter and press down. Look, there's a wobble. That's because I was bending on this earlier, showing you how to adjust it. There we go. Now there's no wobble. When I say wobble, I put mine on the counter and press down. There is a wobble because I am part of that 80%. But because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So if these are too loose or too tight or they sit uneven, just stop by your local shop and tell them what's wrong. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes to adjust a pair of glasses properly so they fit better. But I'm going to flip them over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. Now, let's see, as I was mentioning, because he upgraded to the Crizal Prevencia, there's a clip that comes with the anti-glare lenses. Well, that is now obsolete with that. So what he needs, and he spends so much time at a computer, and as I talked to him on the phone, he needs about a plus 50, half that power to see properly at computer distance. So again, he's wonderful right here. He can read everything perfectly right here. As things get farther away, it gets a little hazier. So he needs half the amount of correction at computer distance as he will to see the optical infinity for seeing a mile down the road. When you want to see traffic a mile away in Los Angeles, you got to use these lenses. When you want to look at something on the computer screen right here, does that work? So I put a plus 50 magnification in here that I told him just to leave on his desk. So while he's wearing these, this is Paul's head right here. So while he's wearing these and he gets to the computer, snap that on, and that now, When I add the plus 50 to this, remember minus 1, you add plus 50, this becomes minus 50 in each eye. It does not affect the astigmatism. It does not set the axis. It just gives him that extra magnification he needs for up close. So that's what I can do. If anyone else needs a little bit change in that, if when you're getting up there in years, 35 up there in years. I just turned 25 for the second time in my life. So 15 years ago, I was 35. I wish I had that problem again. But as we get up there and we spend more and more time at the computer, you're going to need a little bit more plus power, as we call it. That's why this is here. I have these here. These are very strong. This is like a +2 in the top and another +2 in the bottom for a total of +4 that I put on. If I'm trying to tighten a black screw in a black frame, or if I need to see what's wrong, I put on my super magnified lenses. I call this Big Plus. Look what it does to the, hopefully it does that to the lenses, or to the print there as I move it back and forth. You can see how that magnifies. These lenses minify. So this print actually gets smaller, or should, as I move it in front. Depends on the view of the camera angle. So just hit me up if you need, if you don't want one of these lenses. Generally people do the anti-glare. Just pay the upgrade to anti-glare here. That gives you an extra clip. Or you can use the yellow. It just depends. Some people really like the yellow on rainy or contrasting days. People who don't have the pleasure of living in Los Angeles, who live with the rain. In fact, I couldn't cut this video last night because here on the East Coast we were getting pounded by severe storms and wind. There were tornadoes up and down the East Coast, so I had to cut out here early because my wife and best friend and soulmate and whatever else you want to call her said, please come home. Don't cut Paul's lenses for him. I'm more important than Paul. You hear that, Laura Jean? Make sure to use that guilt trip on him sometime. So that's it. Let me clean it one last time. In fact, I field test every cleaning cloth before I ship to make sure that it works, so that you can't tell me that you don't know how to clean your lenses or that your cloth doesn't work. But I also include instructions not only on your clean, but on how to care for your frame and your lenses so they last you for years, but also how to care for your cleaning cloth and case so that too may last you for years. So when you get this in the mail and there's a wrinkle, you know it works. So the nice thing about the Ultem case, there's room naturally to store the glasses, but there's 4 slots, 1 for each clip, so you can keep them in there. Of course, chances are you're just going to leave this one on your desk, and you can keep the other 3 clips in there. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're at. So if anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on the website. Paul, by the way, not only do I send out cleaning instructions, I send out a selfie request. I would love to have your picture on the website under my Happy Satisfied Customers page. But Paul in Los Angeles, California, yay. Hope you enjoyed. Where's that tiny flashlight again? Hope you enjoyed watching as I cut your prescription Crizal Prevencia lenses in your Ultem 200 size 54 in the color 2. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.